Whoa, my camera's all thrown off, but whatever. We're gonna do the show anyways. Okay. What the heck just happened? That was a crazy game with a horrible, horrible finish. Sorry guys, I need to straighten out my camera real quick. Okay, there we go. We looking good? Are we sounding good? Can you guys hear me if the microphone's down like this? Let me know. Let me know if you want it closer. Anyways, okay. What a crazy ending to that game. I need you guys to get active in the chat right now. And I want to know if that was a flop by Josh Okogie or if it was a push-off foul by Julius Randle. Either way, the Suns lose. Sure, there's probably going to be a last 2-minute report, which is kind of controversial. Sort of controversial, I guess you could say, in the NBA. Like the fact that there's a last 2-minute report that says Jason Tatum traveled on the game winner, for example, or whatever it is. I don't know. And yes, we can blame the officiating because it wasn't just this Julius Randle push-off foul. It wasn't just that. There were so many calls in this game that were super questionable. Like, how many times throughout the game did the Suns or Devin Booker get hit in the mouth and nothing was called? For example, that was just some of the calls that weren't called. A lot of questionable calls throughout this game. And sorry guys, my throat. But but I will say this, you guys, and I hate to start off on a negative note here, but Bobby Marks of ESPN had a great tweet. Now, look, we can complain about the officiating all we want, and I understand it. It was a contributing factor to this loss. But I just want to say this. Again, Bobby Marks had a tweet right here, and I think Suns fans need to see this tweet. This is where you really miss Kevin Durant. This is where you really miss Bradley Beal. Bobby Marks' tweet right here. Hopefully you guys can see it. The last 3 minutes and 40 seconds, the Suns were 1 and 6 from the field. 1 for 6 from the field. They were 0 for 3 in the final possession. Oh, and on top of that, you guys, they had 2 turnovers. In the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds, they were 1 for 6 from the field. 0 for 3 in the final possession, and they had 2 turnovers. So whether or not it was a foul or not on Julius Randle, whether it was a flop by Josh Okogie or not, the Suns had multiple chances to win the game. And as great as Devin Booker is, we're going to talk about him in a little bit, he cannot do it all. The Suns lost this game as a team. We should have not have been in this situation. Now, I understand it's basketball. It's a game full of runs. You guys hear me say that on my channel a lot. It's a game full of runs. But the Suns should not have been put in this position. Or, let's say you are in that situation, because it's going to happen. It's not the first time it's going to happen to the Suns. It's not the last time. The final 3 minutes and 40 seconds, you should capitalize on that last 3 minutes, 40 seconds. The Suns lost this game. Even if Julius Randle would have fouled Okogie, we still had multiple chances to win the game. So I hate to start off on that kind of a note. We will get to the positives, as my guy Anthony says. Suns Geek bringing the positivity, because my heart is breaking once again over games like this. Not all bad for the Suns, but a lot not in our favor. Exactly. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of overreaction. And there's going to be a lot of, because anytime the Suns lose, Suns Twitter melts down and the world is ending, right? So I'm going to try to remind you guys throughout this live show that there were a lot of great things in this game that happened. Believe it or not, because there were a lot of great things. Also, I just realized my copy of NBA 2K23 Devin Booker was laying down, so I got to open that up so you guys can see it. Ugh. Can you guys see that? Okay. Okay. Cool. Anyways, tough loss, y'all. Tough loss. These things happen, but you guys, there were lots of great things that happened. Also, again, you guys, throughout the show, hopefully you guys can hear me using a different mic today. As you guys know, if you guys saw my latest posts on social media and everything, we are in the process of moving. So things are changing and my setup's changing and microphones are changing. So bear with me, you guys. But again, my goal throughout this show is to try just to remind you guys that yes, the loss sucks, that whether or not Okogie flopped or it was a Julius Randle foul, there were a lot of great things throughout this game. And I do want to start with the positives. I was taking notes throughout this game. And I want to say through especially the first quarter and really throughout spurts throughout the game, like a little bit in the third, a few moments in the second, there were a lot of times where the Suns defense was just incredible. Like as a team, it wasn't just a specific player or a couple of good players playing great on defense. The Suns as a team, for the most part, their defense was great. And that's why you're going to hear me say over and over and over again, it's a game full of runs. Even if the Suns defense is spectacular all 48 minutes, it's still a game full of runs, Suns fans. So, you know, and on top of that, I saw a lot of better rebounding for the Phoenix Suns as a team. The guys just being connected, especially with the ball movement and the passing. Now, the turnovers is a whole different thing. A lot of those turnovers, honestly, were fouls, which don't worry, I'm going to talk about that later. But for the most part, throughout a lot of stretches through this game, the Suns played well as a team. And I don't want you guys to forget that. They really did play well as a team. And Harlan Vega said it perfectly. The swarming defense, especially in that first quarter. And again, throughout stretches of this game, the Suns were blitzing and swarming the Wolves like they used to do to us last season. And that is something I think that needs to be taken away because I have no like record of this. I have no proof of this, but I feel like Mike Budenholzer probably really got into them after that Thunder game. And speaking of Mike Budenholzer getting into them, he probably said, you guys need to do whatever you possibly can to get Devin Booker wide open because today the spacing was much better. The screens and double screens and guys just constantly moving was absolutely huge. Sorry, guys, I gotta hold this microphone a little closer. I just feel more comfortable kind of holding it like this. Although eventually I'll put it down. But again, let me know if the microphone's too loud. Let me know if I'm too close to it. Just let me know. But anyways, you guys, Joven, I hope I said your name right. Even though we lost, we battled against a healthy playoff team. The key word in this comment right here is healthy. To my knowledge, the Minnesota Timberwolves were fully healthy in this game. We were missing Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and even though he plays for the Valley Suns, Colin Gillespie. So, and by the way, I'm glad you said this because I took note. The Timberwolves did not take a lead until the 1:05 mark, I believe, of the fourth quarter. We had the lead all the way until like the 1 minute mark of the fourth quarter. That is absolutely huge, you guys. We played as a team. We had good defensive moments throughout most of, if not all of this game, despite the Wolves cutting back in the lead. That's basketball. That's going to happen. And, you know, again, the Suns just shouldn't have been put in that situation. And even though they were put in that situation, they had 3 minutes and 20 seconds to capitalize on it, ice the game, put it away, and they didn't do it. But I do want to keep the positive train going. And I will talk about the negatives. We're going to dive into the numbers. We're going to talk about things that I saw, et cetera, et cetera. But we have to talk about the one and only Devin Armani.
Devin Armani Booker.
To all of the Devin Booker critics, to all of the Devin Booker haters and trolls and people that are questioning Devin Booker due to a rough start of the season, even though he won player of the week and he had like 44 points or whatever he had in this game. I need you to keep doubting Devin Armani Booker. I need you to keep doing it. I need you to keep trolling him in the comments. I need you to keep trolling him on social media and saying this and that, because I think Devin Booker read all of your comments and responded tonight. And sure, it's just one game. Oh, Suns Geek, he's going to go off here and there, but he's not a true leader and he can't do this all season. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't know that Devin Booker was playing 1-on-5 out there. I didn't know Devin Booker is literally supposed to do everything and play defense and get himself wide open. I'm sorry, you guys. My bad. Devin Armani Booker is back, and you heard it here first on Suns Geek, y'all. Devin Booker was spectacular tonight. In 40 minutes, he had 44 points, 7 assists, 15 for 29 from the field, and he had 6 threes. 44 points, 7 assists. He had an incredible sort of like fade away in front of the Suns bench. Beautiful jump shot that had Rudy Gobert just running through. He just faded away, bucket. And speaking of that, you guys, Devin Booker, I was kind of keeping track of all the points he was scoring. He had he scored 10 of the Suns' first 17 points in 5 minutes. He was 3 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3, made a couple free throws. Then he hit a 3 shortly after that. Then he was up to 15 points, while the Timberwolves as a team had 14 points. He had a beautiful kind of dribble drive move on Rudy Gobert, going up and scored. I'm pretty sure I just mentioned it, but he had that challenge/block on Rudy Gobert. It was absolutely spectacular. Rudy Gobert jumped. Devin Booker jumped higher, tipped it. I've never seen Devin Booker jump that high before. I've never seen it. It was beautiful. And again, I mentioned that shot right in front of the Suns bench with the shot clock winding down. He was incredible. Didn't matter who was guarding him. Devin Booker was spectacular. He was scoring on all 3 levels, getting to the free throw line, hitting his threes, hitting his shots, being aggressive, staying aggressive. Now, don't get me wrong, you guys. I believe he had 4 turnovers and 4 fouls. But still, for all you plus-minus experts out there, he was a +4, +4 in the plus-minus box. But still, he was spectacular. So if you are continuing to question and criticize Devin Booker, which I don't know why you guys would do that. He's our star player, our franchise player. He's been here for 10 seasons. He has done so much for the Phoenix Suns on and off the court. And yet, for the casual Suns fans, and maybe for the newer Suns fans, it's like, oh, well, what have you done for me lately, Devin Booker? That's not fair to Devin Booker at all. So I need you guys to keep criticizing, keep trolling, and keep hating Devin Booker, because he's going to see it, and he's going to have games like this more throughout the season. And he's just going to keep proving you all wrong, like he's done throughout his entire career. Now, look, have I criticized Booker here and there? Yes. Maybe there's been a couple videos or live shows where I criticize Booker, but that is my job as not only, a YouTube content creator or a YouTube podcaster, or whatever you want to call me. That's sort of my job. I tell you guys how it is, but it's also my job as a fan. Because again, what do us fans do? We tell it how it is. We respond and react to what we are seeing. So I can't pick on the critics and the haters too much, because I've done it before. I've criticized Devin Booker, but I've always defended Devin Booker. And I don't think I've ever really questioned him to an extent anyways. And I don't think I ever will, because whenever we do that, he responds with a 44-point game like tonight and reminds everybody in the league that he's one of the best scorers and the best players in basketball. Devin Armani.
Devin Armani Booker.
He was so good tonight, you guys. Like Skilly says, 40 points or 44 points for Book. Sorry, 40 points. I can't read. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, you guys, 44 points. I don't know. Okay, you guys, let's keep going here. There was a lot that I took away from this game as well, but I just quickly want to kind of go over the numbers before we talk about certain player stats, because I want to talk about like Oso Ighodaro, Grayson Allen, et cetera, Mason Plumley. And yes, because look, I've been wrong before. I'm going to be wrong again in the future. We eventually have to talk about Yousef Nurkic, and you guys know that's big on for me because I've been a very big Nurkic defender. So we are going to talk about Yousef Nurkic because it's not looking good. Okay, anyways, let's just go over the numbers real quick. This was a offensive game from both teams. That's an understatement. The Suns shot 54% as a team. The Wolves shot 52.5% from the field. Both teams shot spectacular for the most part from three. When was the last time the Suns finished a game shooting 45% from three? They were 14 for 31 from three. The Wolves were 17 for 39 from three, which is 43%. Again, you guys keep me updated. Can you guys hear me okay? Is this mic working well? Let me know if you guys like this mic too. I've been using it here and there, especially on the videos, and seems like a lot of you guys like it. But anyways, again, just the offense by both teams tonight was absolutely spectacular. And look, I know this is a Suns show, but we have to give credit to the Wolves. Post Karl Anthony Towns trade, before the Karl Anthony Towns trade, we all know this from last year's playoffs. They are a great team, and they're probably going to be in the playoff hunt. We might see them in the playoffs, and we're going to see them again throughout the season. They are a very good team. With or without Karl Anthony Towns, they are a really good team. And they reminded us today, whatever time it is for you guys, they did it again. They were spectacular. And again, if you're just joining the show, just go back and watch the very start of this show. The Suns had multiple chances to win this game, even though the officiating was horrible. And sure, again, the officiating had a lot to do with it, but the Suns shouldn't have been put in that spot. Coda Kid says Bull would have closed. For real, why didn't we see any Bull tonight? I need more Bull minutes in my life. Bull, save this team, please. Because look, I was live at the Suns Jam Session podcast the other night, and I said that when Bull came in with that third unit, that not only did the third unit play a lot better than the starters, but Bull played pretty damn well in his, 3 or 4 minutes that he played. Bull would have closed the game. I need more Bull minutes, y'all. Mike Budenholzer, if you're listening, I need more Bull minutes. Okay, back to the numbers, because this show's going all over the place. We won the rebounding battle. That's big for me. I like when the Suns win the rebounding battle because I feel like for the most part, I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I could be wrong, but I feel like we're not a great I feel like we're not a great rebounding team. So anytime we can win the rebounding battle, even if it's like for a couple, like by a couple of rebounds, I'm okay with that. We won the rebounding battle 41-32. We also had 12 offensive rebounds for what it's worth. Suns had 29 assists, but they had 21 turnovers. Now, again, a lot of those turnovers were fouls. So take that into consideration. It's not like the Suns literally just handed the Wolves the ball 21 times. A lot of those turnovers were fouls. And real quick, I just want to see who made a lot of those turnovers. So Ryan Dunn had 3. Mason Plumley. Oh, I was scared. I thought Plumley had 6 turnovers. I was about to freak out, but he did have 6 fouls. Mason Plumley had 4 turnovers. Nurkic had 1. Tyus Jones had 1. We're going to talk about Tyus Jones later because he was excellent tonight. Booker had 4. O'Neal had 3. Okogie had 1. Oso had 3. Grayson Allen had 2. But again, all goes with fouls, turning the ball over. Guys, we can't, even if the officiating is horrible, we can't be fouling the way we did and making silly fouls and making silly turnovers. One of those silly turnovers, by the way, and I slightly tweeted this, or I had a tweet kind of referencing it, was I think Booker gave the ball to Royce O'Neal on the left side of the court. For some reason, he passed it back. And I don't know if like Royce thought he was going to be fouled or something, or if somebody poked the ball out of Royce's hand, but he passed it right back to Devin Booker. It led to an Anthony Edwards breakaway dunk. And Booker, I don't know if he was looking at Royce, but he kind of put his hand up in the air, and just little turnovers like that. Turnovers that we would see last season. And Jordan, I hate to agree with you here, but it is kind of true. We still have a turnover problem. And that's weird because I'm not kidding you guys. Tyus Jones had 11 assists and only 1 turnover, and yet we still have a turnover problem. And here's why I kind of agree with Jordan, because last game we had 17 assists and 17 turnovers. I literally just read you guys from top to bottom. Every player had a turnover. The only player that didn't have a turnover in this game who played was Josh Okogie. The Suns need to fix the turnover problem. I don't know how. I don't know how they do it. Do they need to zip the ball around more? Because call me crazy here, even though I think some of the ball movement was okay throughout this game, I feel like we haven't really zipped the ball around like we were doing during the preseason at the start of the season. Do the Suns just need to kind of keep doing what they were doing tonight and get their guys more open, and by setting screens and moving around and setting double screens? How do we fix the turnover problem? Again, you guys, 17 turnovers in last game for 17 assists. Tonight, they had, I just read it, 21 assists, 21 turnovers, 29 assists. Harlan Vega, I appreciate you, my guy. $2 super chat says Suns for life. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. You guys, you totally don't have to, but if you want to help support this show, leave a super chat, a super thanks. It really does help support the channel, helps keep the lights on here. I would appreciate it, you guys. So let me know if you have a solution or an answer to our turnover problem. I don't think it's a permanent turnover problem because we do have 2 of the best point guards, I'm going to say that. 2 of the best point guards in the league who don't turn over the ball in Tyus Jones and Monte Morris. But I don't know. And I think we have a solution right here for my guy, Coda Kid. No turnovers for Okogie. Let Okogie bring the ball up next game for real. Just put the ball in Josh Okogie's hands and we will be good. We'll have 0 turnovers. It's just that simple. And Abraham, I think this is a good transition here. He says, I'm amazed at Okogie. I'm amazed at Okogie's game, how much he has improved, doing everything on the floor, extreme hustle. So since we're pretty much done reading the stats, I'll get to a couple more later. Let's just start with Josh Okogie. Even though there's lots of players I want to talk about, let's start with Josh Okogie. The stats aren't going to blow you away every game. And I talked about this, I believe, in a recent, I think it was when I was live with Matthew Lissy from the Suns Jam Session podcast. I personally feel that Josh Okogie has been like inspired by Ryan Dunn, for example, and is trying just to build off last year, that he is taking offense more seriously. And it's not just the three-point shooting, you guys. Because, yes, he can shoot the occasional three and make one, even though tonight he had no three-point attempts or made. So we all know he can hit the three. But I believe one of his first points of the game, he had like this crazy like and one where he just like was getting fouled and just kind of threw it up there and he made it. But he's just being aggressive and smarter with the ball. Like getting guys off his pump fakes, driving in and scoring, for example. Just little moves like that. I think he's been inspired because we all know he's a great defender. He hustles out there, but I think he's taking offense more seriously. And you guys will hear me say this a lot on this channel. Any points we can get from guys like Josh Okogie are huge. It's just a bonus for us, especially like when KD and Beal and all of them are healthy. It really helps us. Okay, but there were some other players I wanted to talk about. Let's start with, because we were talking about Devin Booker. Let's start with Mason Plumley. I know he got into foul trouble. I know he had 4 turnovers, but he had 6 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. And you're going to get sick of me saying this, you guys, but it's true. Mason Plumley just does the little things out there. Oh, and by the way, Mason Plumley started tonight with Yousef Nurkic, and call me crazy, but I kind of like that. I'm not saying it should be a permanent thing, but I was like, I saw that. I was like, okay. I was like, Mason and Nurkic starting tonight. I was like, I kind of like it. And by the way, before we continue about Mason Plumley, if there is ever a time to experiment, it is right now. You need to experiment early in the season. And even though we've lost a couple of games now and we're kind of struggling, we still have 9 wins on the season. If there's ever a time to experiment, it is now. Figure out your roster, figure out your rotations, figure out what works. Experiment now. And real quick, Jordan says, Suns had 26 fouls, Wolves had 13. Very lopsided game. Exactly. Again, how many times do the Suns get hit in the face or physical contact or, just very lopsided. Very lopsided. But again, Mason Plumlee, you guys. I know he fouled out. I know he had 4 turnovers. But he looked pretty good out there. He just does the little things out there, sets hard screens, rebounds, plays well, isn't afraid to also take the ball up. You know what I mean? Not necessarily like run a play, not necessarily like set up the offense, but will take the ball up. And even though we had no point guard last year, that's something I appreciated about our team, was a lot of our team would do that. So it takes the load and the weight off of Beal, Booker, KD, etc. I like how Mason Plumlee does that. Speaking of Mason Plumlee, he had a posterizing dunk on Rudy Gobert, by the way. That was fun. What other notes did I take on Plumlee? He also had a beautiful dime to Oso Ighodaro in this game. But again, I really like what I'm seeing from Mason Plumlee so far this season. And, I don't know. It kind of seems like Mike Budenholzer, especially with the injuries, is, again, experimenting with the starting lineup. I don't know if we're going to have a consistent starting lineup until KD and Book are fully healthy. But Jordan says, should we start Mason next game to see how he does with the starters? I don't think it would hurt. Because, again, we're going to talk about Nurkic later, but with how Nurkic has been playing as of late, I don't think it would hurt. It wouldn't surprise me if he starts next game, but it also wouldn't surprise me again if he doesn't start. The only thing I will say, though, and this isn't Mason Plumlee's fault, I don't know why he didn't play in the game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think Mike Budenholzer said something along the lines of like, oh, I wanted to play Oso because the Thunder are younger and athletic. But I'm like, I don't know. That was just kind of weird. I remember I even tweeted out, I was like, why isn't Mason Plumlee playing? I was like, where's he at? Like, I don't know. That was kind of weird, but whatever. Plumlee was good. Tyus Jones. Now, look, you guys, obviously when we lost the Oklahoma City Thunder, a lot of us were negative. We were overreactionary, which I understand. You know, I said it earlier in the show, Suns fans overreacted to Devin Booker. During that Thunder game, I overreacted to Tyus Jones, who for the most part has been great for us this season. Tyus Jones throughout most of the season, if not all season, has been just as good as advertised, except for in that OKC Thunder game. But in all fairness, everything went wrong for the most part in that game, right? Well, he must have heard what I said or heard what other people saw, or he must have heard what other people said, I'm trying to say, because he arguably had his best game, if not one of his best games this season. Sorry, guys, I just lost my train of thought. Tyus Jones was spectacular. 37 minutes tonight, 13 points, 11 assists, and 1 turnover. Not to mention 5 rebounds and 3 steals. He literally did it all tonight. And any additional points that he can give us is huge. Because I felt like he was more aggressive on the offensive end tonight, like getting his floaters, getting his jump shots. We all know he's not afraid to take a 3. And that's where it's huge for Tyus Jones. So he arguably had his best game as a Sun, if not one of his best games as a Sun. Again, you guys, 13 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. And he only had 1 turnover and 1 foul. So I think this is where, and I sort of referenced this on the Suns Jam Session podcast the other night. This is where I think I might need to start eating crow, as some people put it. This is where I think Suns Geek was wrong on something, and that is Yousef Nurkic. Oh boy. Where do we even start with Yousef Nurkic? I actually want to start with his numbers coming into tonight's game. Now, again, this was coming into tonight's game. This was posted on November 15th. And I cannot believe I'm about to read you guys these numbers. Here's Yousef Nurkic's numbers coming into tonight's game. 7 total points. And this is not a joke. This is not somebody trolling. You can go and look up these numbers yourselves. 7 total points. 1 for 18 from the field. 1 for 18 from the field. 0 for 9 from 3. 5 for 10 from the free throw line. 5 turnovers. Now, again, that was coming into tonight's game. And what's weird was I think Nurkic actually started tonight's game pretty well. Like he hit an open 3. He was moving well. But then all of a sudden, just like that, foul trouble. My guy Coda Kid says, what? The geek is never wrong. That's right, you guys. I am never wrong about anything. I am always right about everything. That's cold, Michael. Michael says, 1 of 18 is atrocious, geek. I can't even do that on 2K. Oh my God. That's too much, man. The geek is always right. Well, you know what, you guys? I was definitely wrong on Yousef Nurkic. I think it's finally time to admit it. I have to full screen myself for this, you guys. I think I was wrong about Yousef Nurkic.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
So I read you guys the Nurkic stats for the last 3 games. Tonight, he had 5 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 3 fouls. But here's the concerning thing for me. 14 minutes. And the only reason he got that 14th minute is because he played in the final minute or less of the game. So I feel like he only played 13 minutes. I don't know what's going on with Yousef Nurkic. Sure, in his defense, he has been injured. He's been battling the injuries, but he's been healthy the last 2 games. And the Thunder, when we played them last game, are smaller, because they're younger, they're athletic. Chet Holmgren was injured. Isaiah Hartenstein, however you pronounce it, was injured. You had a bad game against them. When the last time you played them, you had a 31 rebound game, Yousef Nurkic. And then tonight, sure, Rudy Gobert is an excellent defender. He's won multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards. And the Wolves are long and athletic. But you played 14 minutes and you give us 5 points and 7 rebounds? And it's just I don't know if it's his mindset or if he's being not aggressive or maybe too aggressive. There was 1 turnover before I think he got benched where, and look, I don't know if it was a broken play by the Suns, but he got it under the basket. He just kind of ran under the basket and then he just flew it up. It just, I don't know. I can't explain it. I could waste my time and watch every Nurkic possession or go back and watch the last few games and watch all of his possessions. I don't know if it's a mindset thing. And it's weird because 10 days ago, he was a contributing factor in our 6th win in a row. He was great and he was playing great. I don't know what happened, Yousef Nurkic. So I think I need to start eating some crow, but I'm still going to trust in Yousef Nurkic and hope that he plays better. Because if you don't play better, Yousef Nurkic, you don't play more aggressive, you don't give us double-doubles anymore, you stop you stop taking and making threes, you probably won't be here at the deadline. Now, look, there is no facts, there is no sources that I know of anyways that, there's no proof or evidence that Yousef Nurkic is even considered being traded, unless somebody has something that I don't know. Sure, we can all hop on the trade machine and be like, oh, I'll trade Nurkic to this team for that player, but it's not going to happen, most likely. But if he keeps playing like this and it's February, it might be time to move on from Yousef Nurkic. And look, you guys, I see it on Twitter all the time. I see it in the chat. I see it in my comments section. We should trade Yousef Nurkic to this team for that player and that. And then I look at the teams, and most of the time I'm like, okay, the one thing that Suns fans, and really all NBA fans, need to remember is, does this trade make sense for both teams? Sure, it could make a lot of sense for the Suns. The Suns should trade Nurkic for this guy because that makes a lot of sense. But does it make a lot of sense for the other team? I saw a couple trades that were Nurkic going to the Hornets or even back to the Blazers. I'm like, first off, why would the Blazers trade back for Yousef Nurkic when, one, they have a young rookie in Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams, who last time I checked was healthy, and they have DeAndre Ayton. So even if they traded DeAndre Ayton, they still have 2 good centers. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. And why would the Charlotte Hornets trade for him when they're still rebuilding, but they don't need you. That just, guys, it's got to make sense for both teams. You could do the trade machine all day, which I encourage you to stay off the trade machine. Don't do that. But it doesn't make sense for both teams. So again, I will admit when I'm wrong. I will eat crow. But Nurkic has not played well. And I hope he plays better. I hope he plays better, because if he does, if he isn't playing better by February, he's most likely gone. Shout out to the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. Appreciate you being here. I've been on their show a few times. Love working with them. Go subscribe right now, you guys. He says, Nurk has matchups that suit and matchups that completely suck for him. We have to ride that wave. I agree with that. I love how you worded this, because it is true. But Nurkic needs to capitalize on those matchups that are good for him. But I do agree with you. And I also agree with the last part. Whether Suns fans want to or not, where is it? We're going to ride the Nurkic wave for now. And I agree with that. Because I know, at least last time I checked, James Jones is a big believer in Nurkic. A lot of the Suns players, last time I checked, are big believers in Nurkic. And he is still on this team. Let's see. Aussie Suns fan says, what? We can't just turn on the forced trade option in the NBA? For real, guys, it doesn't work like that. Stay off the trade machine, Suns fans. Just do it. Okay, guys. Is it fair to say Grayson Allen's back? Congratulations to him and his wife, by the way. They recently gave birth to their first child, I believe. So shout out to him. I'm sure he's been tired and exhausted. And he's obviously been battling injuries, but he played tonight, 24 minutes, 18 points, 4 made threes, and he also had 5 rebounds, 1 assist. So shout out to Grayson Allen, staying aggressive, launching those threes, playing great. Glad that Grayson Allen's back. And we're going to need Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal and Josh Okogie, whether or not KD and Beal are healthy. Also, big shout out to Oso Ighodaro. 11 points, which I believe is a career high, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. And there were, I mentioned earlier when I believe it was Mason Plumley who had a nice dish to him and he went up and dunked it. There were so many times tonight where Oso was just cutting and driving to the rim and just threw it down. One of them was a beautiful no-look pass from Devin Booker, by the way. Seems like him and Devin Booker kind of have a little bit of chemistry going on. But again, Mason Plumley found him for a nice pass. So I like what I'm seeing from Oso. He stayed aggressive out there. He was benched for a few games, but it seems like when he comes in, he plays hard, stays consistent, sets hard screens. He's a good passer. And it's weird, you guys. He has that kind of floater / quote push shots that he does. He did it a couple times tonight that he seems to have just mastered. I forgot who it was. It might have been AZ Sports Zone on Twitter who pointed it out. Devin Booker, I think, drew the double teamed. He was double teamed, and he just confidently passed it to Oso, and he did that little floater push shot, and it went in. I think Devin Booker really trusts Oso Ighodaro, and I know he trusts Ryan Dunn. So shout out to the Suns rookies, man, playing great. Just quickly, I'm just going to quickly go over the Wolves. We talked about their team stats earlier. Julius Randle absolutely cooked us. Obviously hit the controversial game winner. 35 points, 7 assists, 11 for 20 from the field. Dante DiVincenzo cooked us off the bench. 15 points, 5 for 10 from 3. Naz Reid, 13 points. Not the best Anthony Edwards game, but not the worst either. I mean, he had 24 points on 9 for 14 shooting. So, and then, they got Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels contributing. So shout out to the Wolves. They played hard. They won the game, controversy or not. The Suns had multiple chances in the final 3:40 to win the game. They didn't do it. I don't know. I'm kind of glad that Matt left this comment right here because I did want to talk about this. Matt says KD most likely to get reevaluated after 1 week, which is probably the Lakers or Nets game. The injured team can beat under 500 teams, but we're not getting a bunch of those. So I don't know if I agree with the last part, but the point I wanted to read his comment was the Kevin Durant reevaluation is eventually going to come up. Hopefully I hit the microphone. Hopefully our schedule gets a little bit lighter. And before I talk about the schedule, because I do have a point here, I want to give a big shout out to my guy, Legends Productions, who says that Nurk KD clip is aging well. Nurkic has been really bad offensively lately. I agree. And shout out to Legends Productions. So I'm going to do this on the fly, you guys. We're going to go react to what. Now, a lot of Legends Productions videos do very well. I feel like they go viral all the time. There's even been NBA players and big NBA media personality people that have responded and replied to his videos. So big shout out to my guy Legends. Go subscribe right now. But we're literally going to go do this on the fly. We're going to find that video of his and just react to that clip of KD really getting into Nurkic. In a second here, you guys. Legends, I hope you don't mind if I do this, but your tweet literally has 7.2 million views, 84,000 likes. So we're gonna react right now to this. We're gonna do it right now. So please go subscribe right now to Legends Productions. He's on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Go look it up. But this is the clip that I'm talking about. This was from a while ago. At least it feels like a while ago. And I'm gonna lower my little banner here so you guys can see the thing. I'm actually going to probably lower me too so you guys can see what was said. Again, big shout out to my guy Legends Productions. This is what he was talking about. The KD Nurkic clip is aging well. KD really got into Nurkic. And sometimes, you know, these things need to happen, especially from a guy like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant needs to be like this more often. Let's react to the clip. Granted, hey, we're a fucking team. Pass the effing ball. Royce is wide open. Move past that shit. I love that. I love that. So again, shout out to Legends Productions for that clip. Had to react to it live. Go subscribe right now to him. He's also a nice guy too. I've talked to him a lot. And shout out to Legends Productions. I'm just double checking Twitter to make sure I didn't miss anything here, but one of my favorite follows on Twitter, Suns Are Better, says, I'm very grateful the Suns started this season 8-1, but going from 8-1 to 9-5 really hurts. Injuries suck. That is, I think, the comment of the night. Legend says, yes, sir. Thank you for the reaction and the shout out. Of course, man. Keep up the great work. Everybody go subscribe to Legends Productions right now. So Jordan says, is Nurk becoming a ball hog? I don't think so. But I just think whether it's a broken possession or not, I think Nurkic just hesitates a lot. And I don't know. I don't know. Matt says, I think Nurkic after his injury during his prime isn't the same. Plus, he's older. Maybe his play style has changed when he was young with the Blazers. I mean, injuries are going to affect anybody at any time. But yeah, that one gruesome injury he had a few years ago was brutal. But that's where I was excited for Yousef Nurkic this season. Because don't forget, Suns fans, he was one of our more healthy, if not our healthiest player last season. He played like in 70-something games. And whether you want to admit it or not, the Suns last season were a better team with Nurkic on the court. And then, we all off season long looked like Nurkic lost a little bit of weight, which I believe he did, was working on his threes, which I know he did. And, started off the season okay. Feel like for the most part, he was really good. And now he just, I read you guys the numbers. He's not playing good, you guys. I don't know. I wish I could ask James Jones and Mike Budenholzer, and I don't know. I wish there could be some answer. Anthony says, Suns Geek, what do you think of starting two bigs? Tonight was Nurkic and Plumley. I think I would like to see Plumley and Oso get a start while Katie is out. I sort of referenced that earlier. I see the vision and I like it. And again, if there's ever a time to experiment, do it now, Mike Budenholzer. But it's extremely unlikely, unless I'm wrong, unless Mike Budenholzer is a mad scientist and he's like, Nurkic, look, man, you got to come off the bench for a couple games. I think it's extremely unlikely. That would be cool. And I see the vision with Plumley and Oso, because I said nothing but great things about Plumley and Oso throughout this show. But I think it's extremely unlikely. Unless Nurkic just keeps playing poorly and getting his minutes cut, maybe. But I don't know. Because, we've seen like Royce O'Neal and Ryan Dunn start. You know what I mean? It's also, I don't mean to sound negative. And I know Ryan Dunn is an excellent defender. And I know he's a rookie. But is it just me, or has he not really played that well recently? I'm sorry to be negative. I'm sorry, Suns fans. I'm just calling it how I see it. Has Ryan Dunn not been that good lately? I don't know. He's a rookie. He's going to go through stretches. It happens. But somebody let me know if I'm wrong or right about that. I don't know. Anyways, Michael says they won't let the 200 million trillion Nurk come off the bench. That's why Bradley Beal's not coming off the bench. Oh, and speaking of, earlier when I was saying you all were criticizing Devin Booker and hating Devin Booker, I bet a lot of you guys miss Bradley Beal right now. I guarantee that. We could have used Bradley Beal tonight. Could have used Kevin Durant tonight. Anyways, you guys. Aussie Suns Fan says, I think Ryan is playing through soreness right now to keep himself in the rotation. That's true. That's fair. And he does guard, most nights, if not all nights, the other team's, best offensive player. So I'm glad you said that, Aussies. I forgot about this. He said he was grimacing quite a few times tonight. There was one play specifically that I saw him doing it. I don't know if he made a shot or the Suns scored a bucket, but they showed a closer up angle. And I did see the actual grimace, I did see that. I didn't see it too many times, so maybe I wasn't watching the whole time, but I did see one moment where he was grimacing. And I don't think he was grabbing his knee or his ankle or anything. So maybe he is a little beaten up, but I don't know. Ryan is a rookie. You can't blame him for anything his first year, considering we thought his shot would take 2 years to develop. Yeah, but he is starting for this basketball team. I think we can blame him a few times here and there, but he is a rookie. That's fair. I understand. All right, you guys. Is there anything I missed? I think unless you guys have a last minute comment, question, concern, we will just end the show off a tweet that I read earlier. Because I think it kind of sums up. Oh, that's not what I meant to click. I think it kind of sums up what we were talking about, but let's see. Let's just end the show off this tweet right here, the one that I read earlier. I'm very grateful that the Suns started 8-1, but going from 8-1 to 9-5 really hurts. Injuries suck. Yep, that's pretty much it. And Michael, I'll just say this: very soon, if you guys checked my social media posts lately, I'll just say very, very soon. So if you guys could keep us in your prayers and your thoughts, I would really appreciate it. And last comment question here before we get out of here. Are we missing KD and Beal, or are we missing chemistry we had the first 9 games? It's both. I think the answer to this question is both, because without KD and Beal, even without one of those guys, you can't have that chemistry, that continuity, that connectiveness without 2 of your stars. You just can't. It'd be like going to the park with your friends or your family and playing basketball, but one of your friends or family is missing. You don't have that like chemistry. You're just playing with like a random guy, or maybe a friend that you don't play with that much. It happens. Like, you build chemistry with players. It's a real thing. And yeah. Ooh, and before we get out of here, I won't spend too much time on this. Speaking of building chemistry and practicing and recovering from injuries, final thing before we get out of here. The Suns' schedule. I know it's been tough to start. Let me just pull this up here. Suns' schedule. Here we go. I know it's been a tough schedule to start. It feels like the Suns haven't had a day off, even though they have. It feels like we haven't had a day off in forever. I know they play like every other day, or, what I'm trying to say is the Suns have a 5-day break coming up. And that's, there's no in-season tournament games. They have 5 days off coming up soon. So if you can see my screen right now, first off, our next game is against the Orlando Magic, and we're going to be wearing our new Suns City Edition jerseys, the Valley jerseys, both games against the Magic and Knicks. So those are both home games. So we'll be wearing those Suns City Edition jerseys, the Suns City Edition courts and all that. Can't wait to see all that. And look, the Magic and Knicks, 2 pretty good teams. Those are going to be tough games. I don't know their whole injury report and everything. I haven't watched every Knicks and Magic's game, but I know they're good teams. But you guys, after that, after November 20th, we have 5 days off. And I think that is huge. Now, I know we play in back-to-backs after, but still, 5 days off to rest, to practice, to get healthy. That is going to be huge going forward. And sure, we play back-to-backs, but they're home back-to-back things. We play, 4, 5, 6? We have a 6-game homestand, you guys, from November 18th to December 3rd. We have a 6-game homestand with 5 days off. If the Suns struggle in this 5-game homestand or 6-game homestand with 5 days off, then yes, there's a problem. But let's take it one game at a time, Suns fans. Take it one game at a time. Let's have faith in our Phoenix Suns team. Let's try to spread some positivity out there, and hopefully the Suns can get back to their winning ways against some really quality teams. All right, guys, I think that's it. I'm done. This was a fun show, you guys. This was good. I know the game ended on a negative note, but this was a good show, you guys. So seriously, guys, do me a huge favor. And whether you're watching now or later, crush that like button, share the show, get active in the comments. It really helps me out. It tells YouTube I'm doing a good job around here. Share the show too, you guys. All you got to do is just go down, find the little share button, tweet it out, tag me in it. It would really help me out, you guys. So I will be back soon. At some point, I want to kind of do like a Suns news recap video or a live show. But things have been crazy busy with the move. So stay tuned, you guys. Lots more content on the way. And you already know the drill, you guys. Be kind to people out there. Stay safe. Be patient with people. Be nice to people. Spread love and positivity, you guys. And win or lose, Phoenix Suns for life. Peace out. God bless. And go Suns.
What's up, Suns?